Today on Fox 10 News at 4, dramatic video showing a barge on fire sending smoke over the Africatown Bridge. We'll tell you what we know next.
Plus, unsettled nerves in Mobile after a shooting near Murphy High School. No arrest yet, and the community is asking, are our kids safe? We'll have the latest coming up.
And we are tracking some scattered clouds across the area. We do have some cold temperatures on the way. We'll talk about how cold it's going to be in your forecast coming up.
First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 News starts now.
Hi there. Thank you for looking in on your Monday. I'm Lenny Slagan.
And I'm Shelby Myers. Welcome into Fox 10 News at 4. Well, first today, a deadly crash at the intersection of Grand Bay, Wilmer, and Dawes Roads. The crash involved an 18-wheel tractor trailer rig.
Now, this all happened at around 9:25 this morning. Witnesses say an 18-wheeler collided with a vehicle, the semi heading north on Grand Bay Wilmer Road. That vehicle was heading eastbound on Dawes when all of this happened.
The crash was cleared by first responders and the intersection was reopened. We'll be bringing you the latest details in less than an hour during Fox 10 News at 5.
Well, I want you to take a look now at the barge. This is what the situation was burning for most of the day. And in fact, heading over on the Bayway, a lot of people saw that thick smoke. I know I certainly did, still heading in this afternoon, just stretching into the sky there. Now, this is just over the Cochran-Africatown Bridge. Billows of smoke coming from that barge on fire in the water. It started before 8 o'clock this morning. A fire boat and multiple land units responding rather quickly. We still don't know what the barge was carrying or what sparked the fire. The good news is no reports of any injuries. Fortunately for that, we do have calls and diverse responders, and we are looking to get answers for you. When we have that, we'll pass it on.
Well, right now we have new information on the shooting outside of a Murphy Blunt High School basketball game Friday night.
Well, police say the victim is expected to recover. Police say officers responded to Murphy High School Friday night before 8:30. Now, that basketball game had been postponed because of condensation on the court.
Police say as people left the gym, a fight broke out on South Carlin Street and continued to Claremont Street. That's when gunfire erupted and a teenager was shot. Still no arrest 3 days later, and that's causing more uneasiness among students, parents, and staff.
The story needs to be heard. It doesn't need to be swept under the rug. They need to be found, whoever it is and was. It was uncalled for. The parents need to be handled accordingly.
Mobile Police Chief saying this in part, quote, "Let me remind you that settling arguments with violence is not the answer, and I assure you it won't be tolerated in any part of the city. If you commit a crime in our community, you will be arrested and charged," quote.
And police also are urging you, if you know anything about this shooting or any other crime in the city, Chief Jackson wants you to give them a call. They also have an anonymous tip line that's available to you 24/7. You can just text 844-251-0644. The city of Pritchard releasing new details about a couple of dangerous incidents that happened over the last week. Pritchard PD says a silver Kia was driving too fast down St. Stephen's Road around 7 last Friday evening when it crashed into a pole. Police say the driver died the next day while 2 passengers were seriously injured. 2 days earlier, police say 2 Viger High School students were hit by a black pickup truck with chrome mirrors at the corner of Turner Road and Thornton Avenue. Investigators say the driver did not stop after this incident. Both students have since been released from the hospital. City officials are urging the driver to come forward as soon as possible.
If you are the person, I'm asking you to turn yourself in. In the city of Pritchard, we are going to take public safety at heart. I know that there has been maybe some type of attitude that Pritchard is a place where you can get away with whatever, but those days are over.
Well, coming up on Fox 10 News at 5, you're going to hear from someone who lives near the area where the 2 students were hit. You'll also hear what the city is working on to improve pedestrian safety.
New now at 4. Tomorrow is a big day. Alabama's legislative session is kicking off in Montgomery. We're here to break down what you need to know from the state capitol. Our political correspondent Jessica Umbro is joining us live now from the Capitol studio. All right, Jessica, talk about the goals for lawmakers this session.
Well, with this year being an election year, we really are expecting to see Alabama lawmakers looking to pass those necessary state budgets and then get back out on the campaign trail. Now, the only thing that's actually required of Alabama lawmakers during this session is getting those budgets passed. That includes a general fund for the state's expenses and then a separate education fund. Last year's general fund reached $3.7 billion in the education fund, with its supplemental bills for the state's private schools reached around $12 billion. Those are two budgets that will see a lot of conversation around, since passing them is a requirement every single year.
All right, Jessica, we've also seen nearly 200 pre-filed for the session. That's on top of 2 state budgets. So what are some of the topics people can expect to hear a lot about?
Well, there have been a handful of bills that have been discussed about whether or not to expand or to get rid of the death penalty altogether. Alabama was second overall in the country for executions in 2025. We've also seen a couple of pre-filed bills about public safety issues like political violence and violence in schools. And members of the majority Republican caucus, have proposed some state level bills that mimic national efforts, like weighing mandatory post-election audits, making it easier to get a religious exemption for vaccinations, and banning gender discussion in Alabama classrooms. Of course, things can change. We see some efforts gain steam or maybe fizzle out during the session, and we'll continue to have those updates as they come up throughout the session. But for now, live in Montgomery, Jessica Umbro, Fox 10 News.
We'll check back in for those updates. Thank you, Jessica. The session kicking off tomorrow at noon, and then tomorrow night, the governor is giving her final State of the State, as she is term limited. This November, you'll have the choice at the ballot box for who will give next year's State of the State address.
And on that note, new legislation is being introduced this week in Montgomery that could stop most dredged spoils dumping into Mobile Bay. State Representative Rhett Marcus of Enterprise and Senator Chris Elliott of Baldwin County announced the mud dumping bill this morning in Fairhope. The new law would add Alabama to a growing number of coastal states who've established policies against thin layer placement practices by the Army Corps of Engineers. And Alabama's would mirror a federal law enacted by U.S. Senator Katie Britt, which requires the Corps to use at least 70% of dredged materials for beneficial use.
It specifically outlines what different activities qualify as beneficial use, and then specifically says that the thin layer placement is not. And so, again, everything from marsh habitat restoration to coastal shoreline restoration, etc.
Well, the legislation will be introduced by Representative Rhett Marcus when the legislature convenes tomorrow. If it passes into law, it will become effective October 1st this year. Our House Chair is going to have more on the bill and reaction coming up on Fox 10 News at 5. Let's take you live outside where you can still see smoke from earlier, that barge on fire we were talking about. It's just a huge plume there, right there in the middle of your screen. The sky around it, though, really clear, and the cooler temperatures today have been sticking around. The sun, though, helping keep it from being freezing.
Fortunately for that, and hopefully we don't have any rain chances in the forecast. With the cooler temperatures, though, you'll likely want a jacket. Well, hello.
Oh, hey.
I was talking to Jason before the start of the newscast because, oh, look at his tie.
Right,
Is
that's
that
red.
for your Rebels?
Well,
Ole Miss Rebels?
yeah, they didn't do very well in Phoenix,
That's
but it was good
okay.
to see them.
Yeah.
Pulling for them.
Yeah, and I got to see the Grand Canyon for the first time.
How about that? Do you have pictures?
I do, and I guess I'll have to figure out how to get them so we can post them up.
Yes.
But Sedona, Arizona might have been prettier than the Grand Canyon, I thought.
Oh, wow.
I've heard it's beautiful there.
Yeah, very nice. But
It's nice here, too.
yeah,
You know.
and I brought some of the cold weather with me. I think it was around 20 in Flagstaff with snow on the ground. I don't know if it's going to be that cold here. Here's what we're seeing over the next 10 hours, and you see how the numbers are dropping as we go through the overnight hours tonight. We are looking at a temperature around 40, and then we'll drop down into the low 30s by the time we approach the early part of the morning hours there. So a light freeze is expected tonight. We're going to see a little bit of a breeze with it, but thankfully it's not going to be quite as windy. Here's what we're tracking across the area. Our forecast low temperatures: 32 in Fairhope, 31 in Mobile, 20s further to the north in Bruton, Atmore, and Grove Hill. A light freeze tonight. You're going to need winter coats tonight and tomorrow morning. Here's what we're tracking here as we look at our satellite radar picture and checking it out here. You got a few upper level clouds. They're real thin. We've got no precip in the forecast in the short term, and we'll take you all the way through the day tomorrow with just a chilly day. We'll actually make it up to about 60 tomorrow afternoon, so it will be better by the afternoon. Coming up in our outlook, we'll see about a series of fronts that will bring us some colder air, and we'll get you prepped for that with your forecast through the weekend coming up.
All right, Jason, thank you. Let's go to Washington now, where the Justice Department has launched an investigation into the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. This comes after months of pressure from the president, and the move is prompting resistance within the Republican Party. Let's go to Fox 10's Washington correspondent Stephen Goen with the story.
Senate Democrats criticizing this investigation as expected, but a Republican now pushing back, warning this could cross a dangerous line. The Trump administration facing a rare obstacle in their efforts to replace Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell.
The Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas.
Over the weekend, Dr. Powell confirmed the Justice Department had opened up a criminal investigation with him at the center of it. At least one Trump ally has spoken out against the probe. In a statement, Republican Senator Tom Tillis said he would block a potential Trump nominee to replace Powell. He added, quote, "If there were any remaining doubt whether advisors within the Trump administration are actively pushing to end the independence of the Federal Reserve, there should now be none." The backlash, bipartisan. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said in a statement, Donald Trump's assault on the Fed's independence continues, threatening the strength and stability of our economy. The investigation into Powell focuses on whether he misled Congress about the scope and cost of a roughly $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed's headquarters in D.C. It follows months of complaint from President Trump, who criticized Powell for not cutting interest rates more aggressively, even threatening to fire him. As first reported by NBC News, President Trump denied any knowledge of the investigation. For his part, Powell said he believes it's politically motivated.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
In Washington, I'm Stephen Goen.
All right, checking out the situation with traffic right now. There is a plume of smoke, a barge fire there north of Mobile up near the Cochran Bridge. But so far, traffic is looking to be flowing along pretty well in that area. This is the Cochran Bridge location here. Highway 90 looks good. I-10, I-65 across Baldwin County in good shape. It is a dry day without any major traffic problems. This is what we're seeing here in Pensacola. And it looks like westbound, a little bit of a slowdown there, but that's it on I-10. We'll have another update as we get closer to the 5 o'clock hour.
All right, Jason, also ahead on Fox News at 4, looking for a tasty way to celebrate the upcoming Senior Bowl. We're going to talk about what the Senior Bowl and the Downtown Mobile Alliance are planning to bring to local restaurants, plus how you can get a bite. That's a live studio interview next. Then a new era for Mobile Fire Rescue. We'll introduce you to Mobile's new fire chief, and we'll get his plans on what's next for the department. We'll have that coming up. But first, a live look outside. Colder air out there. It's going to be sticking around. The good news, no rain. You've got yellow flags at the beach, though, with a slight breeze. You're watching Fox 10 News at 4. Stay close.
Jason Smith, Fox 10 Storm Tracker Weather.
Okay, welcome back. The Senior Bowl and the Downtown Mobile Alliance are teaming up again to host a food and beverage tour. They're going to be highlighting some local restaurants for a unique experience. So let's get your preview on all of that. We've got Molly Middleton here from the Senior Bowl. Molly, I like to say that football and food go together like PB&J. And maybe if you're a sandwich person, you'll have a PB&J on a game day.
That's right. Yes, we agree. That's for sure.
So this experience, it makes sense to get, local restaurants involved. So what are you guys cooking up?
Yeah, the reason we do this is because we really want downtown Mobile to be buzzing about Senior Bowl. And the Downtown Alliance and all the bars and restaurants downtown support us all year long. It's almost like every time we walk in a restaurant, we just walk next to our office and everybody knows us and it's fun. And it's really nice that a lot of the bars and restaurants in downtown Mobile want to team up with us and do the Senior Bowl food and beverage tour. So what that is all of those restaurants that y'all see up on the screen.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. That's how
I can see Chuck's, I can see Wenzel's, oh wow, Mediterranean Sandwich Company. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
Moe's.
Oh yeah. So any of those restaurants, they're doing some type of fun. Whether it's a special or a discount or something, just really to celebrate Senior Bowl. Some of them are even doing, for our ticket purchasers, if you show them that you purchased a ticket, like your confirmation email, they'll give you a 10% off your meal. So when you go to those restaurants, just be sure to ask, what's the Senior Bowl special?
Yeah.
I walked into Great Day Latte this morning to get a coffee at a meeting, and they had theirs already set up.
I love that place. They've got some great cold presses, too, in addition to the coffees.
They do. So it's just great to be able to partner with downtown. We have so many. We'll have 900 NFL personnel, 1,100 media members, coaches, NFL staff, all these people in downtown. So when they walk into the different restaurants, it's like, oh my gosh, these people really enjoy Senior Bowl like we do. So it really also
helps, I think, too, to get people in the door to the different restaurants. I mean, it's smart on both ends. It's a win-win for both. So we were talking a little bit about the Senior Bowl. In addition to this, you've also got the parade that you're getting ready for, and that's not this weekend, not the next weekend, but the weekend after that.
It's, January 30th. Our Friday night street party, January 30th. Our parade rolls right before the Condies, so we go at 6 and the Condies will go at 6:30. And then as soon as the Condies parade is over, it'll be the Muscadine Bloodline concert that's free and open to the public. And then, of course, tickets are on sale on seniorbowl.com for the game. We've got a lot of really great, I'm biased with the Alabama players, but we've got lots of great local names, Deontay Lawson, Lee Hunter, and Colin Lacey, all from Mobile, so we'll be doing fun stuff with them as well throughout game week. So it's a really incredible week coming up, and I just encourage everybody to come downtown and check out all of our fun specials and get into Senior Bowl season like we all are.
You guys do a lot leading up to this, and it's great because in addition to supporting local restaurants, afterwards you can check out a great football game. Any score predictions you're going to be giving here?
The American team won last year for the first time in a long time. The American team is typically the SEC player, so I always root for them. Don't tell anyone. As long as like NFL Network or ESPN don't see me talking about this, it'll be okay. But I'm going for the American team. Roll Tide.
All right, there you go. And there you have it. Thank you. It's always so much fun having you here.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
We'll be sure to have this interview posted on our website so you can watch it and share with someone you know. Also get a full list, right? A good look at all those restaurants teaming up for this. We'll have it posted shortly after this newscast on fox10tv.com. Thank you again.
Thank you all.
All right, you can see that fire still right now going on, smoldering there, a barge on fire in the Mobile River. And we're going to continue to have more coverage on this on Fox 10 News. And checking out the scene with the weather, we do have a breeze today and some dry air, not exactly the best conditions to fight a fire. You can see upper level cloudiness going on in Mobile, at Evergreen, and around Pensacola. These are high, thin cirrus clouds. And our forecast over the next 10 hours here, we do see a little drop in the numbers. It's going to get colder tonight. I expect a light freeze tonight, and you're going to need the winter coats tomorrow morning. You probably got a little practice with that this morning, but definitely looking at some temperatures that are on the decline overnight tonight, and this will be a theme at times in the forecast this week. We're not seeing much on our futurecast for a couple of days. Tomorrow should be a sunny day. It looks like a beautiful day. Then as we work our way into Wednesday, you can see perhaps a few isolated showers in the picture on Wednesday. It's going to be a low-end chance, but we do have a 20% rain chance as a very weak front moves through, and this will bring in more chilly air for the second part of the work week. Here's the forecast. Tonight, we expect to make it down to around freezing from about Interstate 10 northward. We could see some freezing temperatures too in Foley and Magnolia Springs. We've got 30 in Robertsdale, 30 in Seminole, 31 in Mobile and Theodore, as well as Grand Bay, 30 in Tanner Williams, and 28 in Citronelle. Taking a look at the Panhandle here, temperatures in the mid-30s in Pensacola and Navarre, 27 in Crestview, 27 in Jay, 28 in Walnut Hill. Further to the north, we've got temperatures in the upper 20s here for Monroeville and Thomasville. So it will be a moderate freeze going on in our inland counties from Connecticut County all the way over to Washington County, 28 in Chatham, 29 in Fruitdale. Checking out our Mississippi counties here, 29 Leakesville and Lucedale, 30 in Hurley, 35 in Pascagoula. So forecast is looking quite chilly. Tomorrow's temperatures will improve by the afternoon. And while we will see some cold nights over the next 6 or 7 nights, we do have some decent days. And tomorrow we will be near normal with our daytime highs up close to 60 degrees. Here's the extended forecast. And our only shot at rain this week will be that very weak front, which will come through on Wednesday. Light rain amounts expected, very little of a rain chance there at about 20%. Temperatures do turn a bit colder again on Thursday with a lot of wind. We'll see sunshine, thankfully, about a high of 48. And it looks like the coldest night of these cold spells is going to be Thursday night, down to 25 degrees. And so we'll just continue to monitor that for the possibility of a more significant freeze. Into the weekend we go with another shot at a weak front, a few isolated showers Saturday, a high of 58, and back down to around freezing by Saturday night and Sunday night in the extended forecast.
All right, Jason, thank you. Well, it's a big day for the city of Mobile and the Mobile Fire Rescue Department swearing in a new fire chief. Barry Glisson, Fox 10 News reporter Stephen Moody has more on his promotion and what's next for the department.
Of the city of Mobile, and that you will execute the duties of the same.
It's been a day over 20 years in the making, but Monday, Barry Glisson was officially sworn in as the city of Mobile's newest fire chief. He joined the department back in 2004 and has worked his way up. Monday, the city said they honored his dedication, leadership, and his years of service to the department and to the community.
It's surreal, really. It's a blessing to be here. I know the Lord's put me in a great place, and I enjoy helping our citizens and supporting our firefighters. And that's why I've continued doing my job, and we'll continue to support our firefighters and making sure they have every tool they need to support our citizens in Mobile.
Glisson said back in November that he's helping to come up with a plan that changed the way Mobile responds to 911 calls, and he's looking to maintain a high level of service. And Monday, he was able to reveal some more good news.
So today we started our recruit class 2601, 27 new firefighters for the city of Mobile, and that brings us up to fully staffed. We have never been this high before in the history of the department, but we have 543 firefighters for the city of Mobile.
Now, as he takes his official spot as chief, he says he's more committed than ever.
We're the fire department. We're going to show up, and we're going to do the best job possible, and we're going to have thankfully, by the support of the mayor and the city council, we're going to have the greatest tools and apparatus that we can to show up and do our job.
Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
And a congratulations to the new chief. When we come back, the Golden Globes rolled out the red carpet and the winners are in. Find out which films and TV shows took home the top honors. All the highlights from the star-studded night next.
Lexus of Mobile is proud to sponsor the Fox 10 Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Fox 10 Pledge of Allegiance, sponsored by Lexus.
496-4449 today. Hurry, this offer ends soon.
Okay, so the red carpet rolled out for the Golden Globe Awards this weekend, and we've got some of your highlights and the winners.
It was one trophy after another for one battle after another, with 4 total, including Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Paul Thomas Anderson nabbed Best Director and Best Screenplay. Tiana Taylor won Best Supporting Actress.
Okay, Hamnet taking Best Picture Drama. Jessie Buckley winning for Best Female Actor in a Motion Picture. Also a golden night for K-pop Demon Hunters, taking the Best Motion Picture Animated Film and Best Song in a Motion Picture.
That song is catchy. As for the TV side, Adolescence was the big winner, taking 4 categories, including Best Limited or Anthology Series, and The Pit earned Best Drama. And I've heard good things about all of those. I've seen Adolescence.
Yes, that was good. I liked it.
Dark?
Yes, telling of, what can happen with social media.
Absolutely. And The Pit, I've heard amazing things about it. People love it. What is Tiana Taylor in?
She was in One Battle After Another, and that was a really good movie. She had a great performance on there, and I loved how the team made note to mention Regina, who they said was not there because she was ill, because she was very integral in that movie as well. And Chase Infinity, I mean, there was a breakout role for her. She plays the daughter of Tiana Taylor. It was a good movie, but I watched this with my daughter because I knew K-pop Demon Hunters was going to have a big night, and they did. And then she sees George Clooney and his wife walking the red carpet, and she says, "Oh, look at that, Dad! A father and daughter coming to the show." And I said, "Phoenix, that's his wife." And she says, "What?" And she was just stunned. She just, I don't know. I guess because he's got gray hair, but it was so.
And the host made some jokes about that too with Leonardo DiCaprio.
She did. It was a great night. My, red carpet moment, I guess, would be Zoe Kravitz. I thought she looked amazing. She always does.
Oh yeah, she's beautiful. She's just perfect. I did not watch, but I did see some of the highlights, and now I want to see Hamnet. I know I heard it's very sad.
It is, and are you a Shakespeare fan?
Yes.
I studied Shakespeare in college, and so this is all about, and it's loosely based. There's some fiction in there too, but it's about, his son, and then what we then learn to be Hamlet.
Okay.
So I'm ready to see that one too.
Okay, we'll have to watch that one together maybe.
I'm up for it. You don't usually go to the show.
I know, you always are at the theaters.
Okay.
I wait till they come to my TV.
All right. Well, next up, we're going to dive into the big breaking stories that we're working on for your most local news at 5. And then this.
But I like to tell people that your budget is simply your financial GPS. You make the money, so you have to tell your money where you want it to go.
Yeah, are you ready to take control of your money this new year? We're talking about a fresh approach to budgeting.
We'll have the 3-step process for you to help you balance your finances. That'll be coming up right here on Fox 10 News at 4.
For the hot tub and swim spa sale this Friday through Monday.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 News.
Our crews have been working behind the scenes on stories for your breaking news updates at 5.
First, we're following up on a fire that burned Mississippi's largest synagogue. New surveillance video emerging, the very latest on that coming up.
And then in Mobile, the closing arguments in a capital murder trial. Isaac Bell accused of shooting and killing a man in 2021. We'll get you updated on the trial that's coming to a close.
And then what's next with a vote on a public use policy for Mobile's Government Plaza? The Mobile County Commission mulling it over today. We'll have those stories and more ahead on Fox 10 News at 5.
All right, looking out there right now towards Mobile River, we still have some smoke on the right-hand side of your screen. We've got a barge fire there that we've been covering here on Fox 10 News throughout the day, but it's not affecting travel on the Cochran Bridge. And checking things out with our forecast, here's what we're seeing. I want to start out with our Fox 10 weather app. We have some new features to tell you about with our radar view. It's a little bit easier to navigate. You can look at what's happened in the past, which is actually really good because you can look at the last 4 or 5 images and loop them, and you can see how things are moving. You can also check out your 3D radar there as well. And then on the main page, you have an update on how cold we expect it to get tonight. And the temperatures have been a big story. Here's a look at a picture that came in through through our Fox 10 weather app. We appreciate Tony Perano for sending this in here around Perdido Key, and beautiful skies there out over the Gulf. Yeah, we've got some pretty scenes certainly to enjoy here. And to track conditions across the area, we are looking at the potential of some cold weather for a couple of days in the forecast. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And we expect to see temperatures down around freezing as we get into the overnight hours this week and into the weekend. It's going to be a little colder to our north and east if you're traveling, but we're going to be below normal, and all the above average weather will be over the western United States. So here's how it plays out in the forecast. You need a winter coat in the morning in Pensacola. We're going to have a light breeze and 37. It'll probably feel like about 32 with the wind chill. We're going to be in the upper 50s into the afternoon with partly cloudy skies. In Mobile, we're going to start out near freezing tomorrow morning, but we will warm up some, and temperatures will get into the upper 50s to near 60 degrees by the afternoon. Our satellite radar picture here shows some upper level cloudiness in Mobile and in Pensacola, as well as up near Jackson, Alabama. Just high, thin cirrus clouds. And we're hopeful for some better temperatures tomorrow after that chilly night tonight. Most spots will be up around 60 degrees for a daytime high tomorrow. Could be a little cooler near the water in the upper 50s in Pensacola and Destin. High near 60 in Grove Hill. Really, below average with our temperatures at night, but our daytime highs tomorrow will be near normal. We'll look at your extended forecast coming up here on Fox 10 News at 4.
It's a common question people often ask financial advisors. Should I budget monthly or weekly? In today's Watching Your Wallet, as we start a new year, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa gets that answer for you.
For a lot of financial experts, whether you budget monthly or weekly depends on your financial situation. But Kiani Epps with the popular YouTube channel, The Responsible Homegirl, says it also starts with how you budget to begin with. She says most people think you put a budget in place to restrict yourself so you don't overspend and to keep track of your money.
Kind of, sort of, but I like to tell people that your budget is simply your financial GPS. You make the money, so you have to tell your money where you want it to go. So it is simply a plan for how you will use your money. So every single time you have money coming in, you should be giving your money directions.
She says that means if you get paid once a week, you should budget once a week. If you get paid bi-weekly, you should budget bi-weekly. And if you get paid monthly, well, Epps says you should budget monthly. She truly believes it depends on the frequency of how you get paid. Her budgeting process is just 3 steps. List your income for the pay period, and then on the other side of the paper, list your expenses between now and the next time you get paid.
You should be using your money as a tool, and the way I remember it is by SSIG. It's a short acronym for 4 questions you should be asking yourself. What am I saving? What am I spending? What am I investing? And what am I giving? So you want to make sure your money is in balance between all 4 categories. Do they have to be equal? Absolutely not.
Again, that's save, spend, invest, and give. And she says, start now. In this new year, change the way you budget. Take control of your money and give it direction. And if this way of budgeting isn't for you, she says, find one that works for you. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Cases of the flu are going up big time in the U.S. The CDC reporting a lot of states are seeing record numbers. Health experts say children are also getting sick with co-infections, meaning they're getting sick with like the flu and COVID at once. In most cases, children are usually able to recover at home with supportive care. In serious cases, doctors say they may need antivirals or hospitalization. While experts say the flu and other co-infections can't be prevented completely, there are ways to reduce the spread. That includes proper hygiene, so washing your hands and keeping your son or daughter home when they're not feeling well and getting them vaccinated.
If you're thinking of moving for health reasons, you might consider heading to New Hampshire. The United Health Foundation's annual rankings found the Granite State is the healthiest in the nation. Researchers looked at nearly 100 factors, including premature death, excessive drinking, chronic conditions, drug deaths, exercise, and smoking. The study put Louisiana in last place, followed by Arkansas, Mississippi, and then Alabama. West Virginia after that. The report found overall the country is making progress on health issues. The research said national mortality rates improved with a drop in the rates of premature death and drug death. And there's been an uptick in cancer screenings, physical activity, and volunteerism. Well, after the break, we're highlighting one child ready for their forever family. This week's Hope for a Home is next.
Now available on broadcast 10.7 and 31.
We are continuing our special series today, Hope for a Home. Fox 10 is partnering with Heart Gallery Alabama to find families for some very special children. Heart Gallery Alabama is a nonprofit organization dedicated to finding forever families for children in Alabama's foster care system. Today, we want you to meet PJ.
A good personality.
That's how 14-year-old PJ thinks people see him. The 8th grader likes school, especially all the reading.
I like reading like encyclopedia books.
When he's not in the classroom, PJ enjoys playing video games.
Roblox, Fortnite, Minecraft, the good stuff.
And creating new scenes with Legos.
I actually create my own Lego builds. I've always won first place. I did a museum and I did an aquarium.
And all things dinosaur, from fossils to figurines to TV shows.
Chaos Theory. It's an animated show about kids surviving the mainland after Jurassic Dominion.
PJ's favorite color is red, and his favorite food comes from the restaurant Olive Garden.
The bread. The free bread.
He's only 14, but PJ already knows what he wants to do when he finishes school.
A YouTuber. Video gaming. And I like to travel. And traveling and video gaming.
A dream he would love to share with a forever family. That and some new adventures too.
I want to go camping. I've never been camping. I'd like to go camping.
If you want to learn more about Heart Gallery Alabama's program or how to adopt a child from the foster care system, we have a link for you on our website, fox10tv.com, giving you a chance to complete your family and make dreams come true for a special child. You can watch this story and any of the other Hope for a Home stories we've done on our Fox 10 News Gulfstream TV app.
All right, check out this shot here. Beautiful evening out there across the Gulf Coast. Yesterday evening, Tony sitting in that shot there from Perdido Key. We've got some colder air spilling down into the region, and it's going to be a little colder than average over the next couple of days. We've got temperatures that are going to be dropping down, and this really extends into early next week. So expect some colder nights at times. We're going to see some freezes, and this can certainly happen in January. Overhead right now, we've got a few scattered clouds. We're seeing the activity streaming by, and we are looking at sunset coming up here in about 30 minutes. Over the next 10 hours, our numbers are going to be dropping down below freezing by the early morning hours, so we're needing winter coats tonight, no question. Temperatures will drop from near 50 to, say, about near 40 by 8 o'clock. That's a pretty rapid drop to the temperatures. Looking ahead, will we see any rain this week? Well, probably not, but our chance is not zero. We do have an opportunity for a few showers in the picture as we head into Tuesday. Looks like it's going to be dry, but Wednesday we can see a little isolated rain activity as a weak front slides by. All the way into the middle of the day on Wednesday, just scattered clouds and then a few showers again late in the day on Wednesday. This front will come through and it will be much colder on Thursday. So up and down with the temperatures. We're thinking down tonight, upper 20s in northern Mobile County, Mount Vernon, Citronelle, and northern Baldwin County. Near freezing in Mobile and Spanish Fort, just above freezing for Gulf Shores at 35. We go over to the Panhandle here and temperatures will be at 36 in Pensacola, 37 in Fort Walton Beach, and upper 20s from Crestview to Jay to Walnut Hill. Further to the north we go with lots of 20s pretty widespread in the inland areas from Escambia County over to Clark County, Monroe, Washington counties, all looking to be in the upper 20s tonight. We'll be in the upper 20s in Lucedale and Leakesville tonight. right. Tomorrow we make it back up to around 60 by the afternoon. We'll have a decent day. Then the next front comes through and brings more cold air in. And you can really see that by looking at our daytime highs. Just an isolated shower Wednesday, but Thursday's high with sunshine only 48 degrees. And you know that means a cold night Thursday night. We're down to 25 Thursday night. And that may not be the only night in the 20s. We could be in the 20s again Sunday night. So we're going to see a series of light to moderate freezes in the area with a series of fronts moving through this week.
All right, Jason, thank you for that. All I heard was a bunch of chill.
So did I. I was like, wait, what?
Bundle up, everybody.
Yes.
All right, well, this Barbie behind us looks, well, those are headphones, not earmuffs, but you get it. Barbie is releasing a one-of-a-kind doll to help represent and continue on with their unification of different groups of people, and this is pretty cool.
I love that they're doing this. Mattel says it's releasing the first ever Barbie with autism, and that's to help spread light on individuals who have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and also to show how they experience the world.
The company says the doll will be part of the Barbie Fashionistas line and includes specific design choices, including flexible elbows and joints in the hand to mimic stimming, which is the repetitive body movement that some with autism do experience.
The accessories for the dolls will also reflect autism and include noise-canceling headphones like the ones you saw there on the doll, loose-fitting clothing, and a tablet with augmentative and alternative communication apps. Mattel says the doll is going to be on sale online and also at Target for about $11.87.
And it's expected to be sold in Walmarts beginning in March. They have a Barbie that has Down syndrome, and now they've got a Barbie with autism. And I think, you know, years ago, Barbie got a lot of flack for having these just perfectly bodied, blonde,
and that's just not
dolls.
Realistic.
No, it doesn't represent all people. So this is very cool that they have another inclusive Barbie.
There you go. After the break, 24 Buddhist monks and their dog are making the trek across the nation. Find out about their mission for peace and hear the challenges they faced and how their message is resonating. That is next.
And guaranteed for life, Bath Fitter.
A group of Buddhist monks are taking their message on the road, spreading a simple concept of kindness, compassion, and peace, walking across the U.S.
And you may have seen this on social media. A lot of people are talking about it. They're touching the hearts and minds of everyday Americans along their way. Isabel Rosales has more.
In late October, about 24 Buddhist monks began their walk for peace with their dog Aloka. Starting in Fort Worth, Texas, and going all the way to Washington, D.C. Over 120 days, the monks are walking more than 2,000 miles on foot, crossing 10 states and visiting their capitals to call for peace in the U.S. They say their purpose is rooted in spiritual devotion and civic purpose.
We are now taking on this journey to walk for peace, to raise the awareness of peace, loving kindness and compassion. Hopefully that our country and the world will be healed. Everybody will be living in unity and harmony.
Even while traveling, they continue their strict ascetic code of 1 meal per day and sleeping beneath trees at makeshift campsites. A support van follows them with supplies. They stop almost nightly in small towns along the way, using community centers, police stations, churches, historical landmarks, and other Buddhist temples to meet with people, speak, and share their reasons for walking. They're often escorted by community members and local law enforcement. Less than a month into their walk, a traffic accident in Dayton, Texas, left one monk hospitalized, and eventually one of his legs had to be amputated. He recovered and returned home to Georgia, where he was able to reunite with the monks when they reached his home temple on their path. The monks face other daily challenges, like keeping their feet and bodies healthy. The weather was cold and rainy as they traveled through Louisiana. In Mississippi, a local church organized dancers to perform for them. As their journey went on, word spread online, leading to larger and larger crowds cheering them on in Alabama and Georgia. U.S. Senator and Reverend Raphael Warnock joined a large gathering, encouraging the monks and calling for peace around the world.
And with every step they are taking, they are drawing attention to the steps that people of conscience must take to end violence.
Medical professionals in a small Georgia town even volunteered to check all the monks' health. The real star of the show might be the monks' faithful companion on the road, their dog Aloka, who has garnered almost 500,000 followers on social media. Aloka can be seen sleeping at their rest stops, walking alongside them, playing with visitors, and riding in their van for breaks. This weekend, the monks are making their way through South Carolina, on their way to the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C.
Peace is always begin within. And we don't have to look outward to find peace. We just have to look within.
Isabel Rosales, CNN.
Called in weight. I did. You should too.
First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 News starts now.
They were not doing anything that was out of the way or something that would have been nefarious. And this is a sad situation. For a person to hit them and then leave, to me, is heartless.
2 teens recovering following a hit and run from over the weekend. How Pritchard is reacting to an alarming trend. And then we're learning more about the victim of a shooting at Murphy High School. Also, the precautions Mobile police are taking ahead of the game tonight.
And we are seeing falling temperatures overnight tonight. A light freeze is expected in the forecast area. We have more cold nights ahead in the forecast, and all the details coming up.
What we are seeing right now is not normal immigration enforcement. We are not asking ICE not to do ICE things. We are asking this federal government to stop the unconstitutional conduct that is invading our streets each and every day.
Protests increasing around the nation after the deadly ICE shooting in Minnesota. What federal agents are saying about the investigation. Welcome to Fox News at 5. I'm Lenny Slagan. A lot to cover, so let's start. We've got new information tonight following the shooting outside a Murphy Blunt High School basketball game. Mobile police say a teenager who was shot is doing better today and expected to recover. Tonight, though, makes 3 nights since that shooting and no arrests. Our Shelby Myers in the studio with the very latest information that she's been finding out. And Shelby, Murphy High School gym, it is opening again for another game in just a few hours.
Yeah, it is, Lenise. Murphy hosts Theodore tonight at 7:30. A school board member says there's going to be more officers there, including in the parking lot. I'm also told tickets will be limited. Tonight, some are calling for Murphy High to stop hosting basketball games altogether after this act of violence. Gunfire and screams echoing down the streets of Midtown Mobile Friday night. Police say after a Murphy Blunt High School basketball game was postponed, a fight broke out in the parking lot. That fight ended with shots fired at the corner of Carlin and Clearmont Street. One teenager was shot and taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Tonight, Mobile police say the victim is doing much better and expected to recover. A source says the victim is a Blunt High School senior, and the shots came from someone inside a car that sped away after firing.
They need to be found, whoever it is and was. It was uncalled for.
While the shooting did not happen in the gym, Mobile County Public Schools board member Johnny Hatcher says there will be more security during tonight's game against Theodore, both in the gym and in the parking lot. Hatcher also tells me tickets to tonight's game will be limited. In a new Change.org petition, some are calling on Murphy High School to completely stop hosting basketball games. The petition starter's reasoning, saying there's not enough security at the games, especially in the parking lot. He also claims the gym is too small to accommodate the large crowds who are attending. The petitioner suggests a solution of hosting these games at larger venues. So far, it has 39 signatures. Mobile County Public Schools released a statement less than half an hour ago, and it reads in part, quote, "The incident happened off campus and after the game ended." The district says law enforcement has indicated that the person responsible was driving at the time and was not on campus. MCPSS also says a comprehensive safety plan was in place for Friday's event, including law enforcement, school administrators, and metal detectors at the entrance. Mobile Police Chief William Jackson has declined an on-camera interview with us today. He did send out a statement. You can read both of those full statements from the school system and the chief. They're on our website, fox10tv.com. In the studio tonight, Shelby Myers, Fox 10 News.
All right, Shelby, thank you. A judge today declined to revoke the bond of a teenage girl accused of shooting a fellow student. This shooting happened inside LaFleur High School 2 years ago. Prosecutors presenting evidence that Gemma White made unauthorized trips from her home last week. While the judge declined to lock her up, he did remind her about following the rules. The defense wants the charges thrown out. They argue the shooting was in self-defense. That hearing has been scheduled for March. We've got breaking news coming into the newsroom. Less than an hour ago, Mobile County jury finding Isaac Bell not guilty of capital murder. We've got our Brendan Kirby live outside the courthouse right now. Brendan, what's the latest?
Well, Lenny, as you just mentioned, the jury came back with a unanimous verdict on both legal theories of the capital murder. That would be murder in the commission of a burglary and murder in front of the victim's young child. This all coming after closing arguments today in which lawyers for both sides presented their view of the evidence. Prosecutors argued that the evidence showed that Bell shot Dylan Crum in August 2021 while Crum's 7-year-old daughter cowered in another room. The defense argued today that the prosecution's case was, quote, a house of cards built on the lies of someone who is quite self-interested. That would be co-defendant Joshua Smiley, who cut a deal with prosecutors. Mobile County Assistant District Attorney Madison Davis said that jurors heard plenty of other evidence, including GPS records placing Bell at the scene and the defendant's own web searches on the day of and just after the shooting. She said that Smiley's testimony was just, quote, the icing on the cake. Mobile County District Attorney Keith Blackwood reacting to the verdict.
I think we presented a case, but these cases are hard, and each and every one of them is hard. We have the highest burden of proof that there is in the legal system. Not the result we wanted today, but again, very much respect the work that the jury put into this and the decision they made.
This was the second time that Bell had faced a capital murder charge. He was also charged with capital murder in a 2001 killing in an unrelated case. He ended up pleading guilty to a lesser charge in that case. Now, even though he's been acquitted on this most recent charge, he's not yet free to go. He has a pending charge related to allegations that he possessed a homemade shank while incarcerated at Mobile County Metro Jail. Reporting live from Government Plaza, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.
All right, taking a live look outside. We are seeing that cooler air out there. The good news is the sun was out earlier, helping it to, not be as cold. However, the temperatures could be dropping really low coming up. We're going to get a check now on your forecast with our chief meteorologist, Jason Smith. Jason, do we have cool air, like really cool coming?
Yeah, it looks like some colder air for tonight and then a series of cold nights showing up in the forecast. So within the next 10 hours, you can see how temperatures are going to be dropping down into the upper 30s through the 9 o'clock hour. Then into the early morning hours, possible light freezing temperatures for us. So it's a bundle up night across the Gulf Coast tonight and tomorrow morning. It's going to be a cold start to the day. You need to go ahead and have those heavier coats ready to go. We're looking at 27 in Grove Hill, 27 in Monroeville, 28 in Atmore, 29 in Molino and Bay Minette, 31 in Mobile. So pretty much the freezing line is generally going to be along I-10. Parts of central Baldwin County may also be below freezing. If you're right close to the coast, I think we'll be in the mid-30s tonight. We've got a few scattered upper-level clouds, but no big storm systems coming in overnight tonight. And tomorrow, after a cold start, temperatures are going to warm up pretty effectively on your Tuesday. Clouds increasing and then decent weather by the afternoon. Coming up on Fox 10 News, we'll take you through your traffic outlook. We'll also look at our extended forecast with more freezes possible in that long-range forecast.
2 Viger High School students are recovering after a hit and run. Police are searching right now for that driver. Dacian Smith has been looking into this story. Dacian, this is the latest in a disturbing trend.
It really is. The city responded to 47 pedestrian accidents last year. Now officials are urging drivers to slow down. They say they're also taking steps to make roads safer for pedestrians.
Pritchard Police need your help. They're looking for the driver who hit 2 Viger High School students last Wednesday, then took off. Police say they were walking home from Bible study.
They were not doing anything that was out of the way or something that would have been nefarious. And this is a sad situation. For a person to hit them and then leave, to me, is heartless.
Police say it happened at the corner of Turner Road and Thornton Avenue. Marquez Files lives nearby and was shocked to hear what happened.
Crazy, mind blowing, especially if somebody hit a child and then just keep going. Like whatever, you know, whatever the situation was, you don't keep going like that. You got to see what's up.
Police Chief Walter Knight says cars hit pedestrians 47 times last year. In this case, poor lighting may have played a role. That's why the city is taking action.
A part of one of our initiatives are to identify areas that need to be enhanced, like with lighting, more signs being posted.
Pritchard Police say they plan to step up patrols and they want to catch reckless drivers. Last Friday, a driver died and 2 passengers were injured after they crashed into a pole on St. Stephen's Road. The city is looking for funding to make these improvements. They're asking the city council to approve a pedestrian survey. The goal, to make roads safer for walkers and bikers. Mayor Carletta Davis says both students in the hit and run have been released from the hospital and one of them has returned to school. She's urging the driver to turn themselves in.
In the city of Pritchard, we are going to take public safety at heart. I know that there has been maybe some type of attitude that Pritchard is a place where you can get away with whatever, but those days are over.
Now, the resolution for that pedestrian study will be on this week's City Council agenda. Meanwhile, if you have any information about the hit and run, contact Pritchard Police. Live in studio, Dacian Smith, Fox 10 News.
Also in Pritchard, a police officer, Tavon Campbell, has been put on administrative leave. The city is not saying exactly what led to that decision. The police chief, Walter Knight, would only say that it's an internal matter involving the officer. Last year, Campbell was under investigation after video surfaced showing him using a bat during an arrest. The chief says Campbell was cleared and that this new matter is not related to the other incident. The city says Campbell will remain on administrative leave pending the results of that internal investigation. And the argument from a former Pritchard police detective that his perjury conviction should be thrown out was rejected by a judge. Jason Hadaway was found guilty of third-degree perjury in October. He was sentenced to 30 days in jail. The perjury charge was related to Hadaway's testimony in a probation revocation proceeding. He testified that a defendant in a different murder case, Kenta Todd, never asked for a lawyer. A recording of that interview showed that he did. Hadaway's lawyer arguing the state's case rested on Todd's statement and that he was unavailable for the defense to cross-examine. The judge determined Hadaway's conviction will stand.
All right, we can still see a pretty obvious plume of smoke from a barge fire that is happening on the Mobile River. It's not affecting travel, though, on the Bayway or along the Cochran Bridge, but we are seeing kind of an eerie scene there at the fading light of the day. Traffic-wise, things look pretty good. And you can see up the Cochran Bridge here on 45. Everything is flowing along smoothly. It looks good along I-10 and Highway 90. No problems on the I-65 area in Mobile. And I-10 across Baldwin County looks fine. Pensacola is all clear and green, so the dry roadways are helping us out a lot. It may be a little too chilly for folks to be out and about anyway. We'll see about that in your forecast coming up.
New tonight, protests continue in Minneapolis days after a woman was fatally shot by an ICE agent. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension says it's collecting evidence after the FBI took charge of the investigation. This comes as DHS doubles down on defending the officer, arguing that he acted in self-defense. The agency says it's deploying more federal officers to Minnesota to protect other ICE agents. It is prompting criticism from some Democratic lawmakers that the administration is trying to cover it up.
The violence, the complete impunity with which these agents are operating, we need to make sure that these people are not masked. We need to make sure that there is real accountability in these in all of these investigations.
President Trump and the entire Trump administration stands firmly with the brave men and women of ICE.
As the investigation continues, protesters are gathering outside a federal building in Minneapolis demanding accountability. The Trump administration says it's made more than 2,000 immigration arrests in Minnesota since the operation started last month. Ahead tonight, a local Jewish leader remembering childhood memories after a synagogue fire in Mississippi. The connection holding the community together is coming up. We'll have that story and your local headlines as Fox 10 News at 5 continues.
Safe with Fox 10 Storm Tracker weather.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 News.
Mississippi's largest and oldest synagogue is providing new surveillance video from before a devastating fire. It shows a person with a canister pouring a liquid throughout the house of worship in Jackson. You're looking at that video right now on your screen. It's from the early morning hours of Saturday. Now, a person was taken in custody in connection to that fire and is expected to face charges.
We just want to let the Beth Israel community know that the city of Jackson is standing with this community. So attack against the synagogue is an attack against all of us.
This is the second attack against the Beth Israel synagogue. In 1967, it was firebombed by the KKK. And new this hour, a Jewish leader is speaking out about what was lost in that blaze and also what the synagogue meant to him. Joseph Metz is the president of Mobile Jewish Federation. Beth Israel, he says, is where he grew up. He remembers playing in the library and lobby, running down the halls there and blowing the shofar with his father. That's a ram horn that traditionally is blown during Jewish celebrations, and it carries deep spiritual meaning. That says his father's first shofar was destroyed in that fire, along with a plaque honoring his father's 51 years of service. He says the loss goes beyond his childhood memories. It affects the entire community.
It just goes back to a lot of what we've talked about in the past is, there's no room in this world for hate, and, we need to, as a society, realize that we are all the same. Security is going to continue to be of the utmost importance, but we're not going to let it deter us from being out and doing things and supporting our community.
As you heard him there, he says the community is staying strong. The Jewish Film Festival kicking off yesterday in Mobile. It runs through January 25th. It's inspired by Beth Israel's long-standing film tradition. To find out more about that festival and how you can attend, head on over to fox10tv.com.
All right, we saw a beautiful sunset across the area and seeing some great pictures coming in from our website, from our Fox 10 app, and you see Galen sending in that great shot there. Beautiful skies, and we got those upper clouds mixed in. Always makes for a prettier sunset when we see that mixture of cloud cover and sun right at the end of the day. And looking at it for the next 10 hours, if you have evening plans, get ready to need the heavier jackets and the winter coats. We're going to be in the mid 40s anytime now, and then after that we drop into the 30s. I do expect it to make below freezing tonight in our forecast, and here's what what we're seeing with our futurecast. A 10 a.m. Monday shot here and then taking it overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies on your Tuesday and all the way into Tuesday evening. Just a few clouds around. We may see some isolated showers by Wednesday morning as a very weak front comes through. Right now, our rain chances are at about 20%, so there's not a lot to it through the middle of the day. But what will happen is behind this area of cloudiness with the occasional shower, Thursday we're going to see another blast of colder air coming in, and that's going to give us another freeze, in fact a more significant freeze for the second part of the week. We're still in freezing country along and north of Interstate 10 tonight. We're looking at 30 at Robertsdale and Seminole, 31 in Mobile, 32 Theodore, 31 Grand Bay, upper 20s Citronelle, Mount Vernon, and Stockton. And then over to the Panhandle we go with temperature of 36 in Pensacola, 35 in Navarre, 37 in Fort Walton Beach, upper 20s from Crestview to Munson, Century at 28, 28 in Walnut Hill. As we look at what's happening here up I-65 in the upper 20s, 27 Monroeville, 27 Thomasville, 28 in Coffeyville, and over along and in our Mississippi counties, we're at 29 in Leakesville, 29 in Lucedale, and 30 in Hurley. Our forecast, as we take a look at it here, 59 for tomorrow. It's going to get up close to 60 tomorrow. I know the morning will be freezing cold, but it should actually be a decent temperature pattern for us in the afternoon in most spots. We've got 59 in Destin, 60 in Bay Minette and Admore, 61 in Leakesville, and 60 in Monroeville tomorrow. The colder air comes in behind the second front. That front will come through on Wednesday with isolated showers. We drop down to 35 on Wednesday night, but it's Thursday night that looks especially cold. We have highs in the upper 40s and lows in the mid-20s on Thursday night. Friday, Saturday in the upper 50s, lows back down to around freezing Saturday night, and another cold blast is possible by late into the weekend on Sunday. So it's going to be colder than average for our daytime highs and especially for our overnight lows over the next 7 days. Lenise?
All right, Jason, thank you. Make sure you have those jackets and sweaters, whatever you need to stay warm. All right, the Mobile County Commission delaying a vote again on a policy restricting protests inside Government Plaza. The commission adopted that policy in November, then delayed implementing it amid legal concerns. Commissioners sending the policy back to legal for revisions. The proposal would still allow for demonstrations. It would limit where those protesters could set up. The county attorney, Jay Ross, says the policy is neutral and doesn't favor or target any particular group. Commissioner Masiria Ludgood, however, believes it does target a specific group. She's asking for that item to be shelved and got support from Commissioner Connie Hudson. Commissioner Randall Dewitt wanted to vote. The Alabama legislation session will start tomorrow. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at one of the bills proposed that could help environmental efforts in Mobile Bay.
.com for the hot tub and swim spa sale this Friday through Monday. Don't miss it.
Alabama's legislative session kicks off tomorrow in Montgomery. We've already seen nearly 200 bills pre-filed for the session, and that's on top of the 2 state budgets. We've got a handful of bills about whether to expand or get rid of the death penalty. We've also seen bills about public safety and some state-level bills that mimic national efforts. Tomorrow night, Governor Ivey is giving her final State of the State. She is term limited. This November, you will be voting on who will deliver next year's State of the State address. And we've got some developing news on the environmental front as new legislation is being introduced this week in Montgomery that could stop most dredge spoil dumping into Mobile Bay. State Representative Rhett Marcus of Enterprise and Senator Chris Elliott of Baldwin County announcing the mud dumping bill. And as our Hal Sherrick found out, it could go a long way in improving the long-term health of Mobile Bay.
With Mobile Bay as a backdrop on the Eastern Shore, State Representative Rhett Marcus of Enterprise shared the details of his bill, which will be filed Tuesday, the first day of the 2026 legislative session. State Senator Chris Elliott of Josephina is backing up the bill on the Senate side and has been a staunch supporter of ending the practices of pumping dredge spoils into Mobile Bay.
When this bill passes, what the Corps is doing now, colloquially mud dumping, will not be considered beneficial use under Alabama law, and ADEM and DCNR will update the Alabama Coastal Area Management Plans accordingly.
Elliott flew over the Mobile Ship Channel dredge project to capture and share video of the dredge. The process, called thin layer placement, involved pumping mud from the ship channel and depositing it back into the bay. It's the least expensive option for the Corps and one it had deemed as environmentally sound.
It specifically outlines what different activities qualify as beneficial use, and then specifically says that the thin layer placement is not. And so, again, everything from marsh habitat restoration to coastal shoreline restoration, etc.
Before the dredging began, Mobile Baykeeper threatened to sue the Army Corps of Engineers over the practice, saying the mud pumping would be a threat to the survival of the Gulf sturgeon. Various videos taken during the dredging sparked fierce criticism of the practice.
A video especially is worth 1,000 words, and in that case, that's what brought everybody's attention to it. But you go ask any of these commercial fishermen, these charter captains, these folks that make their living on the water, the day one on the job for me, they were coming to me and saying, hey, what are we going to do to stop this?
I feel like we're being murdered by our own government for lack of what you call enforcing our real good, what you call EPA, environmental protection. Where's our environmental protection in Mobile Bay?
The new law would add Alabama to a growing number of coastal states who've established policies against thin layer placement practices, and Alabama's would mirror the federal law enacted by U.S. Senator Katie Britt, which requires the Corps of Engineers to use at least 70% of the dredged materials for beneficial use. Reporting from Fairhope, Hal Sherrick, Fox 10 News.
The legislation will be introduced tomorrow when the legislature convenes. If it passes, it'll take effect October 1st. Coming up, a deadly crash in West Mobile County, what a witness is saying about the incident, and the White House tackling affordability in the U.S. Straight ahead, we'll break down the plans they intend to implement. And we are still seeing plumes of smoke after that barge fire. A lot of thick flames out there, too. We'll have your updated reporting right after this.
$496-4449 today. Hurry, this offer ends soon.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 News.
A federal trial of Glennie McGee into the second week in Mobile. The government's lead investigator continued testifying about an investigation that included wiretaps, hidden cameras, and a secret recording device installed in the defendant's car. The jury hearing clips of many of those secret recording conversations, including phone calls where McGee's wife and co-defendant is heard talking about a raid that turned up a 3-year-old boy wearing a book bag full of cocaine. An agent testifying that investigators found 2 kilos of cocaine at a daycare center in Mobile. It was the same packaging as 3 kilos the officers found in a car they say McGee was in during a traffic stop in 2024. That trial continues tomorrow. Mobile police making an arrest in connection to a shooting from last month. They arrested 23-year-old Kendrick Hill. He's been charged with first-degree robbery and first-degree assault. Officers say the shooting happened on December 15th at the south of Dolphin Apartments on Dolphin Street. When they got there, they found a guy suffering from what is described as a life-threatening gunshot wound. No word on what sparked that shooting. Hill will stay in Metro until a bond hearing on Wednesday. A judge agreeing to reduce the bond for a Silver Hill man who's been charged with murder related to a shooting in Mobile. Over the objection of prosecutors, Mobile County judge reducing the bill for James Odom from $400,000 to $300,000. Odom will have to pay $15,000 of that in cash. He'll be under house arrest too and electronic monitoring if he can make bail. The 76-year-old is accused of shooting 66-year-old Michael Raper last week at a house on Forest Park Drive in West Mobile. At least one person is dead following a crash that closed a busy intersection in Mobile County. It was a car that collided with an 18-wheeler just near Grand Bay, Wilmer, and Dawes Roads. Our Jordan Lassiter talking with a person who was there and says they saw what happened. Jordan, the intersection, it was shut down for hours.
That's right, Lenise. It was closed for more than 5 hours while Leah investigated the deadly crash. A deadly crash closed the intersection of Grand Bay Wilmer and Dawes Road Monday morning. It happened around 9:25. A car hit an 18-wheeler. The driver of the car died at the scene.
And we went to the car, and it was terrible.
The crash happened near Dee's Pecan Company. Co-owner Reggie Ross was sitting in his truck outside the store when he heard it.
I heard a very loud boom, and I looked over to my left, and I saw looked like part of a red car. I mean, it looked, I could tell it was banged up, but I just saw this red car kind of like coming down the road and coming off the road.
Troopers haven't determined the cause yet, but witnesses say the car was traveling east on Dawes Road. They say it hit the rear of the 18-wheeler, which was headed north on Grand Bay Wilmer Road.
So, there was a 18-wheeler going across Grand Bay Wilmer towards the interstate, and at the same time, this red car was coming up Forts Lake Road. It did not stop, and it went underneath the 18-wheeler.
There's a stop sign at the intersection. Witnesses say the car didn't stop. Ross and a store manager rushed to help. They quickly realized there was nothing they could do. The 18-wheeler had minor damage to its rear. Its driver wasn't hurt. Alabama State Troopers haven't released the victim's name or other details about the crash. And troopers are still investigating what caused the crash. If you saw what happened, call Aaliyah. Reporting live in studio, Jordan Lassiter, Fox 10 News.
Want to keep you updated on that situation. Just look at it right here. You can see all that smoke still burning. This is in Mobile River right now after a barge fire from early this morning. That smoke and the flames still visible right now, considering it started at around 7:30 this morning. Fire crews were on the scene within minutes trying to put out the flames. We've been watching the cameras here, and we're trying to see if they are still there. In addition to the Mobile fire boat, the Coast Guard was also called in. The waterway is closed to all traffic in that area. We are checking to see what the barge was carrying. Also, we're trying to find out what started that fire. The good news is no report of any injuries. Again, once we have updated information, we will pass it on to you on air and online. You know, it's a big day for Mobile and Mobile Fire Rescue, with the city hosting a swearing-in ceremony for the new fire chief, Barry Glisson. He joined the department back in 2004, working his way up, and today he was honored with the dedication for his leadership and years of service to the department and the community. Glisson said in November that he's helping to come up with a plan to change the way Mobile responds to 911 calls, and that he's also looking to maintain a high level of service. Now that he is taking the official spot as chief, he says he's more committed than ever.
We're the fire department. We're going to show up, and we're going to do the best job possible, and we're going to have thankfully by the support of the mayor and the city council, we're going to have the greatest tools and apparatus that we can to show up and do our job.
During the ceremony, he was able to reveal the department is fully staffed. Mobile Fire Rescue started with its newest recruiting class Monday, that would be today, bringing in 27 new firefighters. So the total there, 543, and we thank them for their job. Heads up now in Pensacola. Neighbors there have an opportunity to hear from the 3 candidates competing to be the next chief of police. The city will have a public forum where you can hear from the leadership experience and the vision for the department by those candidates. And they include a retired chief of the Tampa Police Department, that would be Brian Duggan, and the chief of Grand Rapids Police, Eric Windstrom, and the acting deputy chief with the Pensacola Police Department, Eric Gross. The public is invited to this event tomorrow night at 5:30. It'll be right there at the Sanger Theater on South Palafox Street.
All right, taking a look outside right now. You can still see the flames in the distance from that barge fire that Lenise was telling you about, our All-In Credit Union view. And here's what we're tracking with our Fox 10 weather app this evening. We are keeping an eye on the temperatures for tonight. We got some colder air starting to work into the picture. Nicholas has a more detailed look at the forecast as well. And here's a look at a sunset shot coming into us from Tony down in Perdido Key. This is from yesterday, a chilly evening. Today's sunset looked very similar in the area today. Our temperatures are way below normal tonight, and they're going to be pretty much below normal as we finish out the week and heading into the weekend. We've got a series of fronts, mainly dry air fronts coming our way, and that's going to bring us lows in and below freezing, even possibly some 20s in the extended forecast. Now, tomorrow morning in Pensacola, 36 and some sunshine. We'll warm up into the mid-50s by the afternoon, and checking out Mobile, we'll start out a little bit colder, just above freezing at 7 a.m., but we will see some freezing temperatures around town first thing. We get into the afternoon with highs in the mid to upper 50s. Your satellite radar picture shows a few scattered clouds out there right now, but nothing that's going to produce any precipitation. We'll look at those low-end rain chances and the cold temperatures in your extended forecast coming up.
The chair of the Federal Reserve is under investigation over renovation project budgets and overruns. The costs increased by around $600 million. However, the chair, Jerome Powell, isn't buying that that's the reason behind the investigation. The central bank cutting rates 3 times last year, but the president thinks the board waited too long. He is pressing for more cuts this year, though he's denied knowing anything about this DOJ investigation. Lawmakers on both sides say it's crucial that the Fed stays independent.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
We want our Federal Reserve to be making rate decisions based on the information and the facts in front of them, not just as a result of direct political pressure. But I don't think that means that a Federal Reserve chairman should not be subject to criticism or critiques.
Jerome Powell's term as Fed chairman ends in May. The president plans to announce his replacement by the end of this month. And the president also pushing to make home ownership more affordable, pushing mortgage rates down in the process. The rate for a 30-year mortgage is now just over 6%, the lowest since February of 2023. It comes after the president called for federal housing agencies, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, to buy up to $200 billion in mortgage bonds. The White House saying an executive order is expected this week banning big investment companies from buying private homes. Democrats are pointing out large financial institutions only owning about 3% of all single-family homes. Prices are also going up, making home ownership out of reach for most families.
We need people in homes, just like they were in President Trump's first term. People should live in homes. They shouldn't be on corporate balance sheets.
It is not a hoax. It is very real. Housing costs out of control, grocery costs out of control, electricity bills out of control.
Right now, the median home price in the U.S. is $400,000. President Trump proposing a temporary lid on credit card rates at 10%. The proposed cap would save Americans about $100 billion a year in interest. That's according to a study. Analysts anticipate banks may simply drop riskier borrowers altogether. That would mean millions of people could lose access to credit. Other possible effects include higher card fees, less perks like the point systems that you use for maybe travel and gasoline benefits. The president is also calling for rates to drop by January 20th, and not far away. It's not clear whether the president plans to take this to Congress, however, or use an executive action. Flu cases are going up in this new year. What doctors recommend that you can do right now to stop the spread. That information when we check your health.
Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith, Fox 10 Storm Tracker Weather.
A health alert for you now with the CDC says a lot of states are seeing a record number of flu cases. Health professionals also say children are getting sick with co-infections, meaning they're getting two different viruses at the same time, like the flu and COVID. In most cases, children can recover at home with supportive care. In serious cases, physicians say they may need antivirals or have to go to the hospital. While experts say flu and other co-infections can't be prevented entirely, there are ways to help reduce the spread. That would be practicing proper hygiene, like what you're seeing in this video, washing your hands and keeping your child at home when they're sick and getting them vaccinated. A new study finds breastfeeding could be connected to less anxiety and depression for up to 10 years after pregnancy. Participants were asked about their health, lifestyle, habits, and breastfeeding history when they were diagnosed or treated for anxiety or depression. 10 years after their pregnancy, the women who said they experienced depression or had anxiety were less likely to have breastfed. Researchers say each week of breastfeeding meant a 2% lower chance of anxiety or depression. And that's even after considering factors like alcohol intake. The authors of the study say the findings determined that breastfeeding could help protect against postpartum depression and could also offer long-term health benefits.
All right, looking at temps right now, already starting to see the numbers dropping some, and they're going down a lot more as we head into the overnight hours tonight. Look for a light to moderate freeze in most spots, but right now it's just a chilly 49 in Pensacola, at 48 in Mobile. We've got 50 in Gulf Shores, low 40s, 42 in Ardmore, and we could be in the 30s in about 3 hours. So we're going to see temperatures dropping pretty quickly here shortly. And a few upper level clouds out there, but no rain today. Our forecast looks quiet, and you see how we drop down below the freezing mark by the early morning hours. After midnight tonight, a lot of us will be at or below freezing with the exception of the immediate coast. No rain around tonight. Let's look at the futurecast. And this week, we are thinking that tomorrow night or early Wednesday morning, we may see some brief isolated showers. You can see the rain kind of swinging into the picture right about daybreak on Wednesday. It's only a 20% chance. We're not expecting much in the way of measurable rain, and we'll have temperatures in the upper 50s on Wednesday. Wednesday evening, as the surface front comes through, it too could squeeze out a few isolated showers. It will be windy and a lot colder on our Thursday with that north wind. Here is your forecast temperature, and we are at 31 in Mobile, 32 in Fairhope, 34 in Pensacola, 29 in Crestview, 29 in Molino, and 27 in Monroeville. So we do have some colder air there. Our forecast temperatures tomorrow are going to be in the upper 50s in Mobile, 56 in Fairhope, 59 in Pensacola, 60 in Bruton. So we definitely have some mild temperatures coming up for the afternoons. Colder nights, milder days. That's the forecast. And by Wednesday, that isolated shower chance is only 20%. We'll have a high near 62. Temperatures start to tumble again Wednesday night in the mid-30s. And then here comes the potential for some colder air. Thursday night down to 25, Friday night down to 39, and then back to around freezing on Saturday and Sunday nights, with daytime highs struggling a little bit. So this may be one of our colder weeks this winter with a series of freezes in the forecast.
In your entertainment news now, Deadheads gathering outside a popular art gallery in San Francisco to honor the late musician Bob Weir. Fans of the band leaving flowers and candles outside the psychedelic San Francisco Art Gallery. Weir, the Grateful Dead guitarist and vocalist, died at the age of 78 Saturday. To honor his impact to the music scene in San Francisco, you can see fans were gathered outside with a show of support and also listening to a cover band playing some of their biggest hits.
It's a sad moment, but it's also a bit of a celebration of life in a way, and feel very grateful, for lack of a better word, for all the amazing experiences that the band and Bob have brought me personally and so many other people.
He was kind of like, we're holding everything up. We'll see what happens after this. I don't know. I mean, the music will go on. Look at all these people.
Weir's death leaves the drummer as the only surviving original member of the band Grateful Dead. Well, how about this? Mary J. Blige is spending her summer in Sin City. Yeah, the singer announcing that she's taking up residency at Dolby Live in Vegas. That'll be at Park MGM. That show starts May 1st. It includes 10 dates running through July. This marks the first Vegas residency for the Grammy Award-winning artist. Pre-sale tickets start Wednesday. The general sale starts Friday. A lot of artists seeing a lot of success in Vegas. I know J-Lo was there, and Britney Spears and Adele. So now it's MJ's turn. Can't wait. We'll have another check on the forecast for you. Looks very crisp out there, very clear. You know what that means? Cooler air is out. Thank you for watching Fox 10 News at 5.
Climb in for just $339 a month. Ford SUVs, adventure your way.
Our temperatures are going to get cold tonight, down around freezing, and then we're going to see that happen again and again in the extended forecast. More cold nights ahead in the forecast.
Good night.